Hey everybody, Bandicoot Commando here, and welcome back to Medieval 2. Last time, we started the cathedral spires. Apparently, Palethorn has been doing something with the magic, and there's a demonic power that was coming from the cathedral. But the power of 12 lost souls were able to help repel it, and... oh, it's not going to show here, but we got the final inventory... well, we got the final page to Zarok's spellbook. So today, this is the final boss.
Alright Dan, you've come a long way. I'd save if I was you.
And save I shall, Winston. It's not just a final boss, it's more of a two-parter with the final boss.
Dan, you're alive! I thought you'd been crushed in the wreckage. I'm going to tell the Prophet Kia what's going on. I don't know what's round the next corner, so if you see the spiv, I'd stock up on ammo. From this point, you're on your own, Dan. Good luck.
So if you've either cheated like I have, which again, I didn't want to. I really didn't want to, but I felt that I would have not been able to pull it off with the health I had and all of that. But I gotta give myself credit, at least, for making it this far without cheating. So I'll give myself credit for that, at least. The spiv and a life fountain are here. If you need anything, be sure to do it now while you still can. Alright, hang on. I gotta click that out and fix up my armor. And I'm already stocked out on everything, so thank you, sir.
I'll take that, thank you. You never give up, do you, Dan? I knew you'd find the last page of Zarok's spellbook for me. You should have joined me. We would have made a great team. Instead, I got lumbered with these two.
But Master, I...
Silence. Think about it, Daniel. An eternity by my side. Why, with my powers, I could put flesh onto your bones as easy as pie.
I'll never join you.
What was that? Could you mumble that again? No? Oh well. You two can redeem yourselves. Kill him while I decipher the spell page.
Alright. We're gonna take on Dogman and Mander again. Oh! They're a bit tougher this time. Ah! Step out of it! Get out of it, Dan! I got him. Okay, now I gotta take on Mander. Except he's gonna be dashing all over the damn place. Got him. Took a while, but I got him. Okay, I can do this with just the life bottles I have. So with Dogman and Mander down, I'm gonna need my Gatling gun. Also, this final boss music is just awesome. Where's the door? Oh. I should be able to talk to the spiv again. Oh no, you can't.
Oh, you've killed my beloved servants. How tragic. How achingly predictable. Well, Daniel, it's been fun, but now I'm afraid the game is over, and it's time for you to die.
Well, he's right about one thing. The game is almost over. I don't blame you, Dan. The demon is a very powerful force to be reckoned with. Yeah, its punches will stun you. Palethorn will then shoot from his flying machine. Those missiles will stun you if they hit you. He'll breathe fire, jump over the flames. Now here... Oh, I messed up. What you have to do is after that bit where Palethorn flew by, you have to shoot him from behind. Because if you try shooting him from the front, it won't work because he's got some magic that's... some energy that's protecting him from bullets. Okay, which side is he going to come from? Shoot him enough times and he'll accidentally hit the demon, and the demon will swipe at him. You just got to do this 3 more times. Again, this music is just so awesome. Alright. You want to be careful after this fire attack because... Ow! Palethorn's now going to shoot missiles at you. There. There is a little glitch trick you can do, but I'm not going to demonstrate it until later. I'll be fine. I mean, hell, even if I didn't cheat it, I could probably still beaten the game at where I was at now that I think of it, but again, I didn't want to take my chances. Oh, come on, snap out of it. Ow. Oh, it wasn't enough. You need the Gatling gun for this because it works better. If you don't have the Gatling gun, you could probably try using your crossbow, but I don't think it'll work well against Palethorn. Alright, what side? Got him! Alright, one more. This is it. All in all, the boss isn't... It's not that hard. The only problem is trying to shoot out Palethorn with your gun. Either with your Gatling gun or if you don't have it or not. Uh-oh. I'll be fine. Otherwise, a hell of a lot more challenging than Zarok. Zarok was fairly challenging. Got him, I think. Yeah, I got him. It does that. And now, enjoy the final cutscene and everything else.
Well, I suppose a decent thing would be to admit defeat. But I ain't a decent man. If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me. It's funny. All my life, all I wanted was a little respect. And world domination, of course. For people to notice. Well, they'll notice this.
Yeah. Bit of a strange ending, but that's the credits. This is the credits right here. Oh boy. There is a lot to talk about with Medieval 2, and my thoughts with the game as well. But Medieval 2, I believe Medieval 2, there's Jason Wilson, wonderful art director he is. Medieval 2 was, I don't know how to put it. Like, when people talk about the medieval games, they mostly end up talking about mostly Medieval 1. Because, you know, everyone likes the original. Everyone likes, you know, whatever the first game was. You know, nobody really talks much about the sequels. Like, oh, Paul Arnold and Andrew Barnbess doing the music. Wonderful music they did for this game. We might see the voice actors show up here. Maybe. I don't know. Like, unless they're not credited, which is weird, but I do know at least most of the male characters were voiced by Mark Silk. Because I know he does Dan's voice in this game. Anyway, just to sum up best as I can about what I think about Medieval 2 is that it is a great game. I do believe Medieval 2 does have a lot of things that it did that certainly made it more interesting than Medieval... Oh, voice actors. Excuse me? You're gonna show the voice actor names? You're just showing the production and QA and stuff like that. You're not actually showing the voice actors. Well, anyway. Medieval 2, like I said, it did add some interesting things that made it a little better than Medieval 1 in some ways. Like, Dan using guns, I mean, I never really found it that strange. I mean, he's in an era where, you know, guns were becoming a big thing and it pretty prevalent. And, oh yeah, 2000, the year of 2000. It's been 20 years when this game came out. Can you believe it? 20 years. That's just amazing. So, we're back here on the title screen. I want to continue with my thoughts with Medieval 2 and talk about a few other little things. So, again, story-wise, though, the story, it may have been slightly weak in some areas. Like, don't get me wrong, I still think the story was alright, but the part with... I feel like the one thing they should have really touched up on and improved and elaborated would probably be Professor Kiff and Kia. They probably should have tweaked them a bit with their personalities to make them a little more likable, especially for Kia. Because, you know, while we know that Dan falls in love with her and everything... It should have been given a little more, like, development on it to make it more... have a better impact, especially when she dies to Jack the Ripper. But other than that, it was interesting. The story was still rather decent, in my word. And, as for other gameplay mechanics I liked, like, again, the weapons, the guns... Dan Hand, though, I think was the best interesting ability they gave. Like, the idea of Dan actually trying to make use of his skeleton body is... they really should have made more ideas with that, because he only uses his arm as a last resort weapon, but it would have been interesting if Dan can somehow incorporate using other parts of his body other than his head, because that would have made it up for really cool ideas you could pull off with him. So, all in all, Medieval 2, I think it is a good game. Bit underrated when people talk about Medieval. They don't bring up Medieval 2 at all. It's a good game. Especially that final boss music, though. So, let's see. Still not done. There's a few little tiny tidbits I'd like to bring up. Oh, it's gonna... Oh, it is gonna replay the intro. I'm just gonna talk while I keep bringing it up. So, for instance, this here, especially at the end. So what you saw at the end was actually when you get all the chalices. When you get all the chalices, that's the ending you get, where Dan and Kia use the time machine to go back to Gallowmere here, and they end up being attacked by Palethorn as the monster and not Zarok. And for a while, nobody knew or understood what this meant. In fact, for a while, at least for me, I thought the Chalice ending was non-canon just because of how nonsensical it was. But Jason Wilson did made a post on Twitter sometime, like a few years ago or something, and he explained that what you saw was that when Palethorn got the final page and deciphered it, what he did was that he ended up using it to travel in time. And he apparently more or less made a timeline where he exists instead of Zarok, which is why when Dan and Kia go back, they end up in this alternate timeline instead. So it's at least good to know that Jason Wilson did give some explanation to it, but it still comes out of nowhere, really. Let's see, what else is there that I want to bring up? Let's see. Trying to think. So I brought up the ending. Oh, the non-chalice ending, if you don't get all the chalices. I'll show a video of it when I can, but basically, yeah, I'll just simply show it near the end. Honestly, I feel like the non-chalice ending would have made a better ending to this game, but So now I'd like to briefly talk about... Actually, no, there is one thing I'd like to do now. I said I'd show off a little trick to the demon, so I'll cut back until I actually get back to the demon boss, and I will show you that little trick. It's more of a glitch, if anything, though. So here's a cool thing I did. I put invulnerability on so I could still get stunned by Dogman, but at least it makes up for... Definitely makes up for everything else. Okay, so guess I must have been wrong with the cheat codes then. Got him. So, now that I got the dummies out of the way, let me show that little trick with the demon. So you need one of the... There it is. I was going to say, you need to use either the crossbow or the... Use either the normal crossbow or the flaming crossbow. One of the two works. Now, be sure that you are in the middle. I'll still get stunned, yes. And just shoot. I'm sure I'm doing this right. Why is it not working? Wait, hold on. There we go. Just simply jump and shoot the demon. Eventually, an arrow will rebound and hit his head. And because he's programmed to hit Palethorn by getting shot by him, the arrow will treat it as if he was shot by Palethorn. Got him. See? Easy little trick that you could pull off. Now I can leave. That was hard to pull off, and I guess I can't do the sound test like I wanted to. So now that we're here in the professor's lab where it's nice and quiet. Hey, I wonder. Nothing. Not even Kia is here. Okay, I don't want those hands to bother me, so why don't we just go into the professor's bedroom and I'll talk about what I want to talk about. So now I wanted to bring up the game's development history. So really, this game's development history, not a lot details on it, like not a lot of information. The only information I can share and know is that development began almost immediately right after they were done with the first game. Like, I think it was like a month or so before it came out, and it was like, hey, why don't we make a sequel? So, from there, they got started immediately with it. But, like everything else, there we go, like everything else, though, there's usually your problems when you have development on a video game. The first of it I should bring up is the fact that with Medieval 2 being made, Chris Sorwell, who was the original director and producer of the game, of the first game, he didn't really want to do Medieval 2. It's not like he wanted it, but it was more of a... He wanted to focus on a new title for the PS2. He wanted to focus on a game of his own, which was Primal. Primal was also, I believe, released on... Oh no, yeah, it was just simply on the PS2. Also known as Saints Divine Demons, I believe, in Japan. So, yeah, Sorwell didn't want to come back for Medieval 2 because he wanted to make Primal. But he had some meetings, though, with the director, James Shepard, with some ideas that he had in mind. One of the ideas in original stories, though, was that instead of Dan being the protagonist, it would have been a descendant of his, Sir Henry Fortescue, as the idea instead. That was the original story, was that instead of Dan, it was just simply a descendant of his. Sorry for the silence, I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. So while Sir Henry didn't make it into the game, concept art, possibly, of him, possibly, is in the credits. You probably saw it while I was trying to talk about my thoughts on the game. But that didn't go around either. So, with that, though, James Shepard used a bit of Chris's ideas while some of his own. Now, another idea that Jason Wilson had was that originally Zarok would have returned and would have played a role of not being the villain. The idea was that an evil cult would have locked Zarok in the Tower of London, and Dan would have to free him, and the two of them would have to work together to fight back against this cult who wanted to use Zarok's spell to resurrect the dead. While that story never came through either, Zarok still appears in the game through cameos and whatnot. So with this, there's really, again, nothing more to bring up with it, because again, there's not much talked about with Medieval 2. Those were like the only few things. Another thing that they've changed, or should I say, bring up about, is Kia. Kia originally went through a bit of a difference with design and name. She was originally named Dawn, Princess Dawn, meant to be a pun on Dawn of the Dead. But yeah, but it was, in the end, she was based on Kia, of one of the wives of the Egyptian pharaoh Akhenaten. I think that's how you say his name. there's these other sketches and artworks of Kia holding a dagger. It was possible that she was meant to play a bit of a bigger role. And also, like I said, with development and changes, Kia's original model render was a bit more revealing, at least with her cleavage. So the final game covers up her cleavage just a bit more. If anything, Wilson also revealed an idea with Kia of that, other than the fact that Dan would have had a love interest, he thought he could have added a funny and naughty little scene if Dan had a love scene with Kia and he pulled a loose bandage and all of her clothes would unravel, as he puts it. Luckily, though, that never came to be, but probably won't stop people doing it anyway. So really, there's really nothing more I can bring up because, again, not much on development here. As for the game's reception, it earned some great reviews. It received good reviews from critics. While it was criticized for its bad camera angles and its difficulty, but it was praised for its humor and approachability. However, Chris Sorwell had different thoughts about it. According to him here, overall, I liked most of what they came up with for Medieval 2, although I disliked the squeaky voice helper ghost, and definitely in places the game's humor crossed a line for me from the silly bawdy tone we had in Medieval 1 to something a little too puerile for my liking. I would have also definitely kept the Hall of Heroes, since I always thought that was one of the more distinctive presidential mechanics we created in Medieval 1. Oh, and Dan's voice was horrible. Incoherent mumbling was a far better way to go. I also think Sorwell admitted he really didn't care much for Kia and thinks that it wasn't really necessary to add her. Although the game did won the BAFTA award for Best Console Game, and Jason Wilson still has the trophy in his possession. Now, there are some little unused things I can bring up. They're only brief, though. Very brief, because again, there's no information on them. Let's see. If I can find it. Here we are. Well, there's really not a lot to go by with Medieval 2 with levels. There are a few that are in the game's data, but you probably can't access them even through hacking because they never were properly completed in some way. These unused places, according to the cutting room floor, as I try to bring it up here. Well, one of these unused cut levels I'll talk about is the Parliament. Originally, instead of the cathedral, the Parliament was meant to have been the final level instead. And instead of the demon, you would have ended up fighting Queen Victoria, in which Palethorn used his magic on her to create Queen Zilla, a very monstrous-looking mutant creature. Although, in the end, Queen Zilla, old Victoria, had to have been changed and replaced with the demon instead. It's probably because they didn't want to offend the actual royal family, even though I don't think they really would have cared. But you never know with these things. Which is strange, considering the fact that the game developers are British. It should have been alright for them to do. The Parliament level is still in the game, but if you were to access it, though... If you were to try accessing it, though, it is in the... It is in one of the prototypes, but it's only a map with placeholder textures and everything else. There's really nothing else... Oh, whoa. There's really nothing in the level, so yeah. Now, as I was trying to get on about, because the cutting room floor, like I said, mentions a few other levels that are apparently in the game as well. As I try to get there as quickly as I can. Excuse me. Okay, here we are. Now I just need to type in Medieval 2. Okay, here we are. So. Oh yeah, Winston has some unused speech bites. Some of them are either repetitive, or just different sayings of what he's already said, or alternatively, some of them are just different things he'd said before. So let me see. Oh, wait, no, not the cutting room floor. Wrong level, or wrong place. I do have to go to the Gallowmere wiki. Better than doing it on my phone. What? Much, much better doing it than on my phone. Okay. Medieval 2. Here we are. Let's see. Cut content. Cut content by game, because that helps better. And Medieval 2, cut content. Nothing. You people at the Gallowmere wiki need to really update your... Need to fix up your wiki a bit. Wait a minute. Hold on. Maybe instead of Medieval 2, I'm probably thinking of Medieval 1. When it comes to these levels that I'm thinking of. Oh no. No, I'm not crazy. I am thinking of Medieval 2, but they're not showing up for some reason. I don't get it. Well, I know one of these cut content things in Medieval 2 where it said something, there's something called art slot, which I'm assuming was meant to be a concept art sort of presentation. But another one that I found was, yeah, here it is, I found them. Why weren't they showing up? Art slot 1 through 5, which, as I said, they might have been placeholders, they might have been test levels as well. It's possible that they were there to act as possible concept art options. Nobody knows for sure. Another one is called Collision Test. It's probably a level that was a test in order to test the collision of the parts of the game. But one of them that really intrigues me is the network test. Why is there a network test in Medieval 2 is the question. Unless there was an idea to put online multiplayer, which I doubt because this game is on PS1, and the PS1 certainly did not have any network capabilities. There might have been something more going on for it. But that's all I could say for now. And speaking of which, I think that's all I have to say. I really have nothing left to share with Medieval 2 here. Other than the fact that I did enjoy it. I am sad that I had to cheat near the end, but again, I give myself credit for at least making it this far to the game. Now, before I end it, there's a little something else I need to share and whatnot. So, it's been 12 games since I did Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal, which, that was like, at this point, 2 years ago, I think. I'm pretty sure that was just 2 years ago. But as we know, every 12 games I do, I always take a break. I take anywhere from a 4 to 6 month break because I feel like I need I kind of need that time to, you know, recuperate and practice for the next several games that I got to do. Yeah, I would like to see when the first part of Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal came out when I did it. That way I'll know for sure if it was 2 years or not. But yeah, it's been 12 games. I'm going to take 4 to 6 months off. Oh. Well, from what I'm seeing here... Oh, it was a year ago. It was a year ago. Well, still, it felt pretty long to me. So there's that. 4 to 6 months of not uploading while I get some stuff out of the way and practice for the next 12 games. But more importantly, this will be more important because of circumstances. Much like in Medieval 1, where the last video I had to dedicate to someone who recently passed away, the finale for this one here is dedicated to 2 pets of mine. My cat Weezer and my dog Pearl. So, I won't take up too much time talking about them, but Weezer was a cat that I have had since 2006, I think. I think it was 2006, 2007, and we've had him up till that long. He was a good cat of mine to have. And unfortunately, we had to put him down. We had to have him put down because he was developing a tumor in his stomach, and there was just nothing that we could do. And it was better to put him down than anything. And likewise, for Pearl, Pearl wasn't our dog originally. She was originally my aunt's dog, but when my aunt passed away, which was back in 2011, she went into my grandma's possession, and then 5 years later, my grandma would pass, 6 years later, Grandma passes away, and the dog ends up in our possession. And although she was dying, the dog was kind of dying because she had a heart murmur. Mom thought it was best to put her down alongside Weezer, just so that we couldn't possibly bear with the fact that Pearl would have just ended up dying alone one day. So, that is all I could say. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed my Medieval 2 Let's Play. I'm pretty proud of what I've done with it and how far I got before I had to resort to cheating. And I just hope that in the next several months or so, we can get through these hard times of what was 2020 and get through whatever 2021 we'll have to have. And there's going to be some big changes for me. I know that for sure. There's already changes going on. I just don't want to talk about them yet and all that. But until I come back within 4 to 6 months, that is it. And I will see you guys later. you.